Amazon and MGM are putting their heads together to create a 5-year plan. But will Stargate be a part of that plan? Welcome to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV movie channel. So, everything has to be a franchise nowadays. We actually heard David Zaslav over at Warner Brothers talking about this recently, that they are going to be focusing far more on projects that have the potential to become franchises rather than just standalone films, TV series, etc. They want to create wider universes, and that has to be the focus. But why? Well, speaking to my sources within the movie and television industry, they tell me that a franchise is really the goose that lays the golden egg. If you think about Star Wars for Disney, anything that they produce, that they put the word Star Wars on, will sell. Everybody will desperately wait eagerly for the new animated series, the new game, the new movie. Fans go absolutely crazy. They barely have to advertise these films anymore because social media, idiots like me doing videos, do all the advertising for them. And at the end of the day, it's virtually a safe bet that even if a Star Wars project for Star Wars does relatively badly, it still makes crap loads of money. Even if the fans hate it. Last Jedi, they still make crap loads of money and people will watch it over and over again, even through gritted teeth. So the franchise is the goose that lays the golden egg. And that's what Warner Brothers are really trying to focus on. But they're not the only ones. Disney desperately trying to expand existing franchises. Amazon are looking to maybe do the same with lots of different projects that they now own thanks to the MGM merger. Apple TV Plus are desperately looking for the next big franchise. So MGM and Amazon are coming together and they're creating a 5-year plan, according to my sources, a 5-year plan of projects that they think have the potential to become franchises. Now, a franchise, generally speaking, would mean that we would see projects in the TV, cinema, and straight to movie sort of area. So we would actually get to see projects created and presented to us in lots of different ways. But also, they want computer games, they want comics, they want to sell toys, they want all of this merch that goes with it. And those are the sort of projects they're desperately looking for. So at the moment, Stargate is definitely up there as part of those plans. They are, as I've told you guys 100 times before, they're currently looking at potentially doing a movie first and then moving on to a television series. This is their grand plan to make Stargate into a new franchise. I genuinely believe this is why the Timekeeper Stargate game is being held back. I think they are waiting for a Stargate announcement to then release the game. Because at the end of the day, they know if they release the game now, it's a Stargate game, it'll get a few gators buying it. If they announce a movie, get a load of people talking about Stargate again, and then release the game, they'll double or triple their sales. So again, that's another reason why I generally think they're holding off releasing the Timekeepers game at the moment. But again, it is that thing about becoming this franchise. I've told you before many times again that Amazon consider Stargate to be a tentpole project. They believe that to be the project really that they hang a lot of other things off, and that it would be multiple television series, movies, games, and potentially merchandise, toys, etc., etc. Grown-ups like me, we love our Stargate models and things, just like we do with Trek, and that is a major revenue resource that Amazon can exploit. So, what other projects, though, are they considering as part of this 5-year project? Well, at the moment, they are looking at 2001: A Space Odyssey. That potentially, the last thing I heard was that it would not become a movie, actually, that it would become a streaming TV series for MGM Plus. Think like Westworld, that kind of feel to the series. Hopefully, the first season, not the crap that followed. But that is definitely sort of the way they're going. Quite, I think, a slow burning TV series that would become, and lots of mystery, lots of reveals, but generally not a lot of action. They're also looking at a Forbidden Planet reboot. Now, I'm actually hearing that that is something they would like to again to turn into a wider universe, so that we would get the initial movie, but that would potentially kick into series and things. Now, apparently, Jennifer Salke, who is now head of MGM Movies, is very keen to do a Forbidden Planet movie. There are some complications though, because actually MGM don't solely own the IP rights. Apparently, that is the current issue, but they do have a couple of scripts that have been completed, and apparently, even James Cameron would be interested in getting involved. We also know that they're looking at Rocky and Rambo, and I know that's not sci-fi, but it is still big MGM. And to be honest, look, the kind of people that we're talking about, we're going to like a Rocky or a Rambo series. I like stuff that blows up. I just do. So a Rambo series or movies again would be amazing. I'm actually hearing though that the Rambo project is not intended to be movies. It's intended to be again a series, and it would be based more again around like Rambo 1, somebody coming back from Afghanistan, somebody with PTSD, and again, it would be their fight against some sort of injustice. I'm thinking more like what we saw from Amazon with the Jack Reacher series recently. I think it would have more of that sort of feel to it. But they're really looking at that because if I'm being cynical, I'm thinking you take Rambo 1 and you create a series and you win loads of awards. And I generally think that's what they're thinking. They're also thinking about doing the same potentially with Rocky. The success of Creed 1, 2, and about to have 3 has been massively popular. They don't think they can take Rocky without Sylvester Stallone back to the cinema with a new character, a hard reboot, but they think they could probably get away with a streaming service series. Again, would go straight to MGM Plus. The big one, though, that I think is really interesting and I think has been massively underachieving in recent years, particularly, is the plans to reboot Robocop. Now, they did the Robocop with Michael Keaton a couple of years ago. It's bloody awful. But whenever they actually release Robocop games, they always do really well. And that is the thought that actually Robocop, if they do a reboot that would actually be a sequel to the original movie, they would ignore everything else, Robocop 2, Robocop 3, Robocop series, that terrible Robocop from a couple of years ago. They'll ignore all of it except for the original movie, and they will expand from there. Now, I'm hearing that it is actually planned to be a cinematic release initially, but they would love again for that to become a bigger project, potentially with spin-off TV series, maybe set in that universe, but maybe not immediately around Robocop. And then the movies would come in and hopefully maybe even get a couple. But the more important thing is that we create a universe, a franchise that lots of different projects can appear in and around. So again, we are slowly moving towards Stargate getting finally produced. But we do have to understand that MGM was on hold for quite a long time. They didn't have an executive in charge of movies after Pam Abdi and Mike DeLuca left. They interviewed lots of people. Nobody worked out. So they ended up just getting Jennifer Salke from in charge of Amazon Pictures to basically absorb and take over both roles. And she is now head of MGM Pictures as well. That was not the initial plan, but it's how it's worked out. Now, that only happened sort of end of November. So now they're actually sitting down together with executives from MGM Plus as well. So it's the movie and television side of things. And they really are starting to thrash out a hard plan for the next 5, maybe even 10 years. And once that plan is sort of thrashed out and they do decide where they're going and they pick the projects they think have the most franchise capability, then we'll start getting some serious announcements. From Stargate, what am I hearing at the moment is that we're still sort of in the same pattern. That if we haven't heard anything by April, maybe May, then we should really start becoming concerned. But actually, that it is looking like it will be a movie announced sometime this year, and then potentially a television series that would be announced early next year. That's where we're at right now, but let's see what happens. I'd love you guys to get into the comments. Tell me exactly what you think about this idea of building franchises rather than just building projects and television shows and movies that are entertaining. that everything has to be a safe bet. I'd love to know exactly what you think. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, it really helps us out. And if you want to become a fully fledged SciTrek and support the channel even more, consider hitting the join button. Also, if you check the description, there's links to loads of SciTrek related things: our Discord server, Facebook page, Twitter page, 9 Chevrons, which is our Stargate website, and God, there's other things as well. It goes on and on and on. So please go and check that out and, pick your poison. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.